Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Today's podcast, we're covering our first Chinese anime, Heaven's Official Blessing.
Yes, and this has been recommended to us by so many people on Twitter. We finally gave it a try.
Yes.
And it's officially, exclusively I should say, and officially on Netflix.
Yes.
So if you want to see it, that's where you got to go. Now I'm going to read this synopsis because it's such a great backstory and it's really, really lengthy one. We don't want to give you any incorrect information.
Yeah.
So 800 years ago, Shilong was the crown prince of the Xianli kingdom. Loved by his citizens, considered the darling of the world, he ascended to the heavens at a young age due to unfortunate circumstances. He was quickly banished back to the mortal realm. Years later, he ascends again, only to be banished again. Mm-hmm. So now 800 years later, he ascends to the heavens for the third time. As a laughingstock among all the three realms, he's trying to get back into the good graces of the worshippers. And on his first task, he meets a mysterious ghost who rules the ghosts and terrifies the heavens. Yet, unbeknownst to Shilong, this ghost king has been paying attention to him for a very, very long time. But before we get started,
be sure to like, subscribe, click notification buttons on future podcasts and one to pause videos.
So right now, it has 2 seasons, one that's aired and one that's coming out. It's being renewed for a second season.
Yes.
And this is an anime based on the Chinese novel written by, and I hope I get her name right, forgive me if I don't, Mo Xing Tong Shu. And it's a Donghua series based on the novel of the same name, released by Bilibili and Funimation back in October of 2020. Mm-hmm. And the book itself actually came out in 2017 and was really popular with 244 chapters, an additional 4 stories, and 8 chapters that take place that are post-canon. So, this has become, it blew up and became really popular worldwide.
Yes.
And it is a BL Donghua and an anime.
Yes. It ended up kind of being like Demon Slayer, where it really wasn't known worldwide until the anime adaptation, and then that made people want to see the original source. Mm-hmm. And it's funny how that really happens with a lot of these books we see through the anime. And with that, one thing that really stands out right now is that the animation is really fantastic.
It's beautiful. There's no other word for it. It is beautiful. It is gorgeous. The entire time you're watching it, you have this breathtaking animation and backgrounds and the florals and the colors, and it's just gorgeous.
Yes. Yes, that's probably one of the best parts of the show.
Definitely.
And then the story, when there is a story, is actually interesting. It's just that the only biggest downside is that unless you just don't mind hearing them talk, there's a lot of talking. There are sometimes there are whole episodes where they're going from place to place and they're just talking. There's no action, and
or
I guess
they're back in the heavenly realm,
right?
Talking to the emperor and Ling Wen as well. So the Zhongwu and Ling Wen, and yeah, there's a lot of talking.
Yeah, there's so much talking, and there really is no action except for one episode they have in the very.
It was episode 4 because we watched the first 3 episodes and we were kind of like, should we stay with this? There's a lot of talking, and we said let's give it one more episode, and we were so glad because episode 4 was fire. I mean, it was like, oh my gosh, is this what this is about? Right. And we were so excited. And then episode 5, it was back to talking.
And then more talking until the last 4 episodes. Yes. And maybe, to me, it seemed like maybe they're trying to save up animation. Netflix used to do the same thing, unless it was a movie. There wouldn't be
Netflix.
Well, it's not a Netflix original, they want to call it.
Right.
And they'll save up the stuff until it becomes a big action scene, except Netflix doesn't want to pay for that either. But for here, it looks like they'll talk for a while and build it up, and then when it gets time, then they'll do the action, and they'll be kind of long. They're trying to save up the money and build up to it so that when it comes, it is worth the wait.
Yes. I think I want to point out a couple of the English voice actors that are notable to mention in here. If you like Skate the Infinity and Longbra, well, Howard Wayne does the voice of Shilong,
Yeah.
who is one of the two main MCs, the Crown Prince, the God-pleasing Crown Prince, the Floral Crown Marshal, lowercase guy, and
Yeah.
Scrap Immortal.
Good
And
grief.
he's gotten a different name every time he's ascended and been banished, so that's why he has so many. You also have in here Lucian Dodge, Wendy Lee,
Yeah, what?
and Aaron Campbell. So you've got a few people that we really are familiar with
Right.
that are doing the voicing. But before we go back to that, we got to tell you about, as they said, someone who's been watching for a long time, and that's the Crimson Rain Salt Flower,
Yeah.
Hua Cheng, or San Long. Now, he has two different names. You're going to have to watch to find out why.
Yes.
But after episode 4 is where they end up coming into contact with each other.
Right.
And you have to watch the episode to find out why. You don't want to blow it. But this is where it really starts getting interesting, not only with the action, but with the story between the two characters.
Right. Because for me, I kept saying it like throughout the time we were watching, is like, it was sort of like inspired, had to be like a little bit inspired by Yuri on Ice. And we told you to be really like the ship and the characters, everything in there, because it's so well written. It didn't matter who you were, you liked the show, you liked the story, it was so much fun. This one kind of takes a little bit of a similar route. Now, it's not like a all comedy type thing. In fact, they only do a couple little anime style things where they go chibi or say something silly. And here they wrote them so interestingly that you end up enjoying seeing them together. Some of the best scenes are them together. And it got to a point where they pretty much wanted to tell you that they were made for each other, even though they didn't know each other, because there comes a time when they're at a shrine and it's like the guy's shrine and the other guy just like fixes up for him and stuff. And they said, well, basically, what are the names again?
Okay, so what she's trying to say is Shilan. He is the one who's gotten banished several times.
Okay, so Shinan's temple.
Okay, we gotta say this. All the characters that are part of the immortal realm are pretty.
Yeah, they all
Whether
look like
they're men
that,
or women, they're gorgeous, they're pretty. Regardless of gender, they're pretty.
Right.
And so he's really pretty. And he's wearing the white.
Yes.
And what Rascal's trying to say is that the Crimson Rain Salt Flower
there you go.
sees him, and he's wearing red, hence the name.
There you go. That's it.
And as they say, he's been watching him a long time.
Yeah.
And he's laying back with his hands behind his head on a hayride.
It's not.
And you know where this is gonna go, and it just reminds you, if you've ever seen movies that your grandparents watched in the 60s or 80s, that's all I thought when I saw it. It's like, this reminds me of that stuff I had to watch with Nana.
Right.
And I'm like, I know where this is going just by seeing him laying back with the piece of the straw.
Like, what are we watching?
Boy. And
okay. Well,
the Crown Prince is gonna fall for him. It was obvious.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, they're already made for each other. They don't even know each other. They act like they're married. Like, the entire time they're on, like, the Earth plane, they act like they're married. And it's like, this isn't unusual, and the people that come to give them the offerings and stuff, they kind of know they're like that. So, it's like, this isn't something that's unusual, clearly. It's like, it's accepted, and they treat it like anything else, so that's kind of why no one's really hitting on them. Like, okay, well, we know what's happening here, so they don't do anything. And it's just like, is this like your soap opera now? Because you don't have television?
So, the action comes in episode 4, as we mentioned, where there are brides that have been disappearing and being killed.
Yeah, which we see is pretty common in Asia as for folklore.
So they want to find out what's going on. So, Shilan decides to go ahead and agree to be bait.
Yes.
For whomever is doing this. So that's one of the action episodes that's in there.
Right.
And again, that's how he ends up meeting the Crimson Rain Salt Flower.
Mm-hmm.
Then later on, there's more things happening. It kind of reminds you of Avatar, where all these people were in the, what was the name of the Snake Pass?
The Serpent's Pass.
Yeah, the Serpent's Pass. And things are happening there, and they go there to try to help the people. But before that, something goes wrong, and then you've got Shilon, his helpers come, and his helpers don't like, I'm just going to say Crimson Rain. Let's just shorten it.
Right.
They don't like Crimson Rain. They don't like him at all.
Right.
They
And
say
it's like,
you shouldn't trust him and blah, blah, blah. But he's already fallen, and he tells them, I don't care.
yeah, because that's how this works.
And then you end up having more and more things are happening. You find out about a war that's been going on. People that have been taken out. Whole groups of people, like genocide, that have been taken out. So the last 4 episodes get a little more serious in terms of the story and what's really happening within the series.
Right.
And it's really engaging, engrossing. It's got some plot twists you don't see coming.
Yes.
And you really will enjoy all the elements that take place within this first season. I mean, it's really, really a great series.
Yes.
I'm just going to say anime. It's really a great anime. And if you've never seen anything like this, like we hadn't, you're really going to enjoy it. The characters are engaging, interesting. As we said, all in one realm is beauty.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the realm when you have the humans, you have some that are dependent upon them, and they show that relationship between them and the ones from the immortal realm.
Right.
And you have some that refuse to and don't want to, and some that get caught in the crossfire of the war that is going on.
Yeah.
There's just so many interesting elements. So the last episode, we do get a cliffhanger. We do get a revelation, and someone had already told me because they thought I'd already finished it, which is okay. So if you haven't seen it, you'll really be surprised. But it's a really good cliffhanger and a really good reveal, and you're just gonna be like, wow.
Yes, absolutely. This is our first Chinese anime, so we kind of wonder how others will be. We have like a couple others in our Netflix list. Hopefully, it'll be just as interesting as this one, because we really like branching out and seeing lots of new things, and we get that this is vastly different from when you see Japanese anime. Yeah, I think for Japanese anime it'd be way more straightforward, but I still think it's taken like Yuri on Ice, where this is just part of the story and you treat it just like anything else, which I really do appreciate, that it's more casual and it doesn't interfere with anything else you're watching. It's just something fun to watch along with it.
I think it's hilarious because if you go to Wikipedia, the author describes the plot as, that scrap collecting heavenly official is having an affair with the king of the Ghost Realm.
That's how she describes
That's how she describes the plot.
Okay, well.
And all the other stuff is just extra.
Apparently.
It's a filler.
Right, so you know what her main focus and deal was with this story when she wrote it. Hey, she wrote it. Like it was a reboot.
As we've mentioned, it's become just worldwide popular. It's well loved. The characters are, they're endearing. You can't help but like them. You really can't help but end up liking the two main characters. And as of this recording, a live action movie is also being made based on the first season, and they're really staying within the realm of the anime as well as the donghua. And it looks like they're sticking to the story, unlike they do with the Japanese anime and Netflix versions, where it's nothing like the story. From what we've seen behind the scenes and the things that are online that you can check out yourself, it seems like they're really sticking to the story, which is great. They're even casting so that when you see the characters, they actually really, really look like the ones that appear in the anime, which is awesome. And a breath of fresh air, honestly.
Yes.
So if you have seen, we just call it HOP for short, Heaven's Official Blessing, let us know what you think in the comments below. Did you read the book first and then see the anime, or was it vice versa? Let us know. Are you looking forward to season 2? Do you plan on watching the live action movie? If you haven't seen it, it's available exclusively now on Netflix since Funimation is no more. Go to Netflix and watch it. You will be glad you did. You're welcome once you watch it. And we are looking forward to season 2 after that cliffhanger. I definitely want to see what's going to happen. I'm definitely waiting to see how this goes. Yes, we know what's going to happen between the two MCs, but as far as the other arcs that are within it,
Right.
I'm waiting to see what happens with that cliffhanger, because it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
And it was like one of those moments, like, you're just left, wow, didn't see that coming.
Right.
So how about you, Raz?
Yeah, so we'll see what happens in season 2. Can't wait. If you haven't already, subscribe for updates, weekly videos, and your favorite anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
And specifically to Sylveon 14, if you haven't seen this, you need to give it a watch. You will absolutely love this.
Right. So, thank you so much for watching. I'm Mask Entertainment.
And I'm on Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.